Hey guys, I'm back. So after that debacle, or after that whole thing with the cold and getting taken off the transplant list, I was relisted. I think they took me off on Friday or Thursday, and I was relisted like the following Tuesday. And then I was able to go back to rehab, so that was good. And everything was going, I guess, like okay. It was strange to um, I mean, it's, precautions. It wasn't, we already knew that if I got a cold, you can't get a transplant with a cold and things like that. Like we talked about with your immune system. So it just goes to show like how careful you really have to be to stay away from sick people. You can't have a fever or anything like that. So everything was going okay. Went back to rehab and stuff like that. Doing cardio, walking, doing some weight training, resistance training and stuff like that. And now here we are, we're dealing with a completely new thing, which is the coronavirus. Um, so the coronavirus, of course, everybody has heard about it. It affects us as transplantees too because um,
Pause.
Rachel, sing pause.
Can they see me?
They can see you.
Am I too close?
You are not too close here. Let me hold it.
Also, not only transplant patients, but people with cystic fibrosis.
In
Also, because
general.
people with pre-existing conditions, it also affects them differently. And also considering the fact that cystic fibrosis is already a lung disease, basically. And coronavirus, I haven't really read about it that much because I don't like to read a lot of things that are depressing, to be completely honest. I like to be informed, but I'm not going to make myself go crazy about it. Some people like to be more informed than others. I'm not that type of person, though. Um, so I do know that the coronavirus, they said that it does affect your respiratory system and your lungs in some way, just like cystic fibrosis already does. So yeah, there's that. So going back to Ruth.
Yeah, so just in the same way. Now it's becoming a issue of like your donor, right? So our donors, do they have the virus? How can they get tested? And stuff like that. So getting the donor tested, making sure that test is negative before they come to you, and then they give you those donor lungs. Also making sure that they test us before they do the transplant. So it's a whole bunch of things. But now that the situation is getting even more like serious, a lot of
Remember, you can also add what they said, like about how if it got too serious, they were considering
that's what I was
stopping
gonna
trans.
say.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, good.
yeah. A lot of like Rachel was saying, a lot of transplant centers are not doing transplants right now. They're closing down they're stopping transplants right now, and that's just something that every hospital, transplant centers can is contemplating because there's that risk of transplanting donor organs with coronavirus, right? And how long does it take to test it and make sure that those lungs are good and ready to go in time to get to the other patient and do the transplant and stuff like that. So I know they're doing a lot of methods, but now that's also coming into play in terms of also testing those donor lungs for a whole bunch of other things that they don't want us to have. When we get transplanted, they have to test for coronavirus as well. Um, so that just makes the donor pool even smaller. And there have been cases, or I know there has been at least one case that I heard of, that, they went to go get those donor lungs, and that donor had coronavirus, and they were not able to get those lungs. So, or those organs, right? So, I mean, that's like a big thing. So, for right now, Duke is still continuing their transplant program, but
There's a
has
possibility that everything could get
shut
shut
down.
down
Yeah, there's a big
if
possibility.
the coronavirus continues to escalate the way that it has been.
Yeah, because at that point, if it keeps escalating, then it's really not safe for anyone to be getting major surgery, being exposed to possibly getting infection, getting the coronavirus. Because like we said in the last video, you're already immunosuppressed. So if you get something, your donor lungs have coronavirus. Your body has.
You're kind of, to put it in a lack of, to put it in a kind of vulgar way, you're screwed.
Yeah.
If that happens.
I mean, you don't want to have that.
Because, like, even if the person visiting the patient who is getting a lung transplant has a cold, they don't want you to visit the patient because their immune system is already being suppressed. So you're putting that person at risk
Yeah, you shouldn't.
of complications and all that stuff. So
yeah, so this is kind of like, I know this is like more of a serious video, but that's just kind of the situation that we're in comparison to when I first got my cold to now, just like 2 weeks later or a week and a half later. Now it's
things are like crazy.
Things are getting crazy. When I go to rehab now, we're not going in class, and I'm not seeing my other friends who are waiting for transplant. It's just me by myself. Like, we have appointments, everybody has their appointment, and they show up for their time slot, and you don't see anybody else. And so that's totally different.
They're wiping down every machine after you use it.
Yeah, we're going to rehab. Rehab is like a gym, and we do, like I said, cardio and stuff like that, and weights and stuff like that. They wipe down everything after you. You literally have a person with you, helping you to wipe down the machines, just to keep everybody safe, which is completely different from last week, where we would come and there'll be a class of like 10 of us, and we're working out, and we can talk in between and stuff like that. It's not like that anymore. So it's much more serious and stuff like that. But that's the situation that we're in. And also dealing with, if your hospital has patients with the coronavirus, are they going to want to be doing transplant patients? So I'm really hoping that get the transplant thing done soon before things get dire. So that's the situation now.
And I also wanted to add that we look crazy because we're currently in the hospital.
Go to X-ray.
Obviously. So you'll see why we're in the hospital in our next video. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.